And here is the WBA's #2 rated middleweight contender, Sweet Reggie Johnson, ranked #4 by the WBC, #1 by the IBF. A southpaw, he lost a split decision to James Toney in his bid for the IBF title last June. Former USBA middleweight champ who has successfully defended 3 times. He's making his way into the ring right now. Johnson from the tough streets of Houston, the 5th Ward, says most of the guys I grew up with either went to jail or are in pretty bad shape with drugs or are dead. I made it out. I was one of the fortunate ones. Tonight, he's got the chance to become a world champion.
Straight ahead, champ. Here we go.
Steve Collins, the #1 contender in the eyes of the WBA, very revved up as you can see. He's rated #5 by the BC, #3 by the IBF. Coming into the chance of his Irish supporters, looking to become the first Irish middleweight champ since Jack Dempsey. That's another Jack Dempsey in 1884, not to be confused with the Manasseh Muller. He lost to McCallum in his first attempt at the WBA title in February of 1990. He calls this my homecoming as he returns to the United States for the first time since 1990 when he decisioned Eddie Hall in Boston. The WBA middleweight championship, which is currently vacant. Will Steve Collins or Reggie Johnson fill the void? Let's get the official introductions from our ring announcer, Ed Darien.
Rutherford, New Jersey. Murad 3M Promotions, Murad Muhammad Promoter, in association with the New Jersey Sports Authority and Don King Productions, present the vacant WBA Middleweight Championship of the World. Is approved by the New Jersey State Athletic Control Board, the Honorable Larry Hazard Senior Commissioner, the Honorable Jerry Gormley Chairman. Members of the board include Gary Shaw and Richard Harrison. Lawrence Wallace, and R. Yogi Hiltner, Deputy Commissioners. The Chief Physician in attendance at ringside is Dr. Earl C. Shaw, along with Dr. Paul T. Williams and Dr. Howard Taylor. Is sanctioned by the WBA, the Honorable Julio Castillo, the supervisor in charge from Puerto Rico. The timekeeper of the bell is Roosevelt Gilbert. The judges, Uriel Aguilera of Colombia, Samuel Conde of Puerto Rico, and Marcos Torres from Panama. In the ring at this time, the man in charge of the scheduled 12-round title bout and working his 100th championship bout, Arthur Mercanti. And now, boxing fans, introducing the principals. First in the blue corner, wearing the white trunks with the red and black trim. He weighed in at an even 159 pounds. From Houston, Texas, professionally, he has 30 wins, 2 losses, 1 draw with 20 knockouts. He is ranked number 2 by the WBA. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome aboard Sweet Reggie Johnson. And his opponent in the red corner, wearing the silver trunks. He tipped in at an even 160 pounds. All the way from Dublin, Ireland, he has 21 wins, 1 loss, and 10 knockouts, and ranked number 1 by the WBA. My good friends, let's welcome to the United States, Irish, Steve Collins.
Good evening, Reggie and Steve. This contest for the middleweight championship of the world will be governed by the rules of the World Boxing Association. You know the rules. Shake hands now and come out boxing at the bell.
So we're set for round 1, scheduled for 12 in the WBA Middleweight Championship.
Let's go.
Wait a minute, a little confusion here at the start before a punch is even thrown. Arthur Mercanti signaling for the bell, and the bell never rang. Now, there's the bell, although a very faint one. And we are underway. Let's hope that's not a harbinger of things to come tonight.
No, the difficulty was somebody took the microphone away from the bell, and they're trying to find the microphone so everybody can hear the bell. It could be a factor as much of roaring as they're going to be in here. There's a huge Irish contingent in here, and they're going to be very vocal whenever Collins does anything.
Steve Collins, a man with tremendous heart. He jokingly told me, you have to have lots of heart to make up for the lack of skill. He's very determined. Reggie Johnson, smart, puncher boxer, adapts to his opponent. Perpetual motion, as he describes himself. His best weapons, as he told us, his right hook and lateral movement, although it was a straight left that decked James Toney.
And right off the bat, you see what happens when you fight a left-hander. They keep stepping on each other's feet because there's no effort on the part of Johnson to go around and put his foot on the outside of Collins' foot and circle around in the classical manner in which they teach you. He's standing right in front of Collins, trying to neutralize that left-handed thing by being first and by punching hard with a jab.
As the Irish fans chant in the background, Collins told us he didn't think he'd have a problem fighting a southpaw tonight. He says it's all in the mind. Johnson said Collins has fought southpaws, but he's never fought Reggie Johnson. A wild right hand there by Reggie Johnson.
Now this is what they call a reconnaissance in force. They're feeling each other out, but they're throwing bombs while they're feeling each other out. It's not yet toe-to-toe, but each guy is trying to put an awful lot behind their punches. Too eager for that first round. They're feeling out, but punching hard.
Collins has been knocked down once for the USBA title against Kevin Watts in '89. He got up, won the round and the fight. Meanwhile, Johnson knocked down twice before, in case you're interested. Johnson told us he's cognizant of the fact that Collins is extremely determined. A heavy right by Reggie Johnson.
Now they're going into toe-to-toe. Both men landing heavily. Again, stepping on the foot. That's what happens with left-handers.
And Collins giving a glare over to Arthur McKenty, looking for a caution, but nothing doing. There's a wild right miss by Collins.
We're going to have that all night long unless Johnson tries to circle outside Collins. If he comes straight in, they will be stepping on each other's feet.
So a lot of punches being thrown here in the opening round. Here's another wild miss by Johnson. Collins said some of his best wins came by boxing and jabbing. You'd think he'd try to apply pressure to Johnson, which he admits he should have done against Mike McKellar.
He's trying too hard to land hard shots rather than box, and it cost him that round. Is Collins. Johnson has been boxing coolly and landing harder shots, and is the aggressor.
Leave. You're working on right, okay? You're working on right.
Clean him up and then toe.
Right hand, okay? More of your right hand. Right hand. Move that way. Leave him alone. Boom.
What action there is because all of a sudden they decided to go toe-to-toe. And unless there's more boxing on the part of Collins and less of an anxiety to go at it, it's going to happen over and over again.
Round two scheduled for 12. When Collins throws punches, he seems to leave himself off balance. And because of his aggressiveness, he sometimes comes in wildly and leaves himself open. Let's see if Johnson can take advantage of that.
He's done pretty well. It was a close round, but Collins, as you say, is totally out of balance. He's trying too hard. He hasn't settled down into his style of fighting. He's just going full out.
Here comes Johnson on the attack. Back comes Collins.
These guys don't want to box, they want to fight.
This one has the ingredients of an all-out brawl. How long will it go? Will it go the distance? Collins says if I get to Johnson early, no, but I'm ready to go 12 hard rounds.
Well, they're going to be hard if they fight at this intense level.
A solid shot by Collins, but it didn't seem to faze Johnson.
No, Johnson got in a good counterpunch, which sort of did a little trick on Collins. He didn't seem to accept that punch very well.
Collins said he watched one tape of Reggie Johnson, the fight against Tony. He thought Johnson won the fight. Tony got the split decision. And they continue to go all out midway through the second round.
Collins doing most of the leading this time, initiating the action, but getting hammered in counterpunch. And back comes Collins again with some more shots. Collins very determined.
Johnson taking body shots.
Collins very determined, and Reggie Johnson very cool. He's very cool. He's just accepting it and then trying to land his counterpunch.
And this crowd reacting to almost anything that Collins throws. Big Irish contingent here. Another wild miss by Johnson, and Collins counters. Collins swarming.
Collins swarming all over what he perceives to be Reggie Johnson in trouble. Reggie wasn't in trouble, but he did get hammered.
Less than 30 seconds in an action-packed round two. A right uppercut by Johnson that caught Collins. A right by Johnson to the head of Collins.
They're both getting in some hard, heavy leather here. But Collins has scored in counterpunching here.
And again, Collins looks over at Arthur Mercati.
They're butting heads, and he's complaining about the headbutt.
Good. Big chin down. Hey. Give me that power left. Hip inhale. Deep inhale. Deep inhale. This is jab, left. Move to both sides.
There's a nice rally by Collins. See that right hand that comes in counter punch? He's been trying to land that all night of the 2 rounds. This one was a good round for Collins. Now here's what he complained about. Look at the head. Boom, a headbutt, just as if he were wearing a football helmet. And he looks over and says, "You gonna let him get away with that?" And he can't let him get away with that much, or else he'll be busted up in no time.
Keep moving to the left. Jab that right hand to the body. And Steve, when you move your head in there. Yeah. Okay.
Let's go.
Round 3, scheduled for 12. It's the WBA Middleweight Championship.